I was very bored yesterday. Very, very bored. Just to illustrate exactly how bored I was, this used to be a plain white sheet of A4. I coloured it in with a black permanent marker. That is what I did. Oh, it smells of leather. But my boredom has been alleviated because Born Without Religion tagged me to do that whole portrait of an atheist thing, which was very nice of her. So now I get to tell you all what I think about things. Number 1, abortion. I am pro-choice. The thing I want to make clear is that it should definitely not be used as contraception. Condoms and the pill and all that stuff should be used first. If you don't use them, you're an idiot. However, you can't not help idiots. I think abortion is okay because I don't believe that fetuses really classify as human beings. What I mean by that is that they are human, obviously, they are a human embryo, but they don't classify in the same way that a living human would. Fetuses are not conscious, they've never experienced life, they have no interpersonal relationships, and if you are ill-equipped to handle a baby or you just don't want one at that point in your life, I don't see much problem with terminating a short-term pregnancy. Late-term pregnancies is where it gets iffy. Obviously, if it's something that's life-threatening, it needs to be dealt with. I don't think you should put the life of an unborn child above that of a living, breathing woman. But aborting a pregnancy 8 or 9 months into it, just because you don't want a child, that's kind of fucked up. You had ample time to terminate that pregnancy when you first found out. In conclusion, abortion is not desirable, but is necessary. The death penalty. I am 100% against the death penalty. I think it's barbaric that a state has the right to execute someone for any reason, because you could quite easily deal with the threat of, say, a serial murderer by putting them in prison. I don't want anyone saying, oh, but it costs a lot. Because everything else aside, I don't think that the proper solution to rising prison costs is just executing all the inmates. And on top of all that, too many innocent people have been executed unlawfully. One person being wrongfully executed is too fucking many. It has happened before and it will happen again. Number 3, gay rights. As people have been saying, it's not gay rights, it's human rights for gay people. It's not something I have to put much thought into, really. Gay people should have exactly the same rights as straight people. Number 4, drugs. The thing is, philosophically, I don't think that anyone should be able to tell you what you can and cannot put in your body, especially a state. I think you should be able to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't infringe on anyone else's rights. And everyone knows that the harder drugs like heroin can lead you to break up families or physically hurt people. The only way you could make that work is if you had like a special building where someone could go to take heroin and they go, okay, room 7D, go shoot up. And you'd go into that room and you'd use the drug. But that's not something I think is particularly feasible. I don't think it's doable, really. So philosophically, no one should tell you what you can and cannot put in your body. But pragmatically, you have to have a limit. Drugs like alcohol and marijuana, when used responsibly, they should be completely legal. But the harder ones, I think they should stay illegal. 5, economics. Economics. I'm crap at this kind of stuff. I took a test a while ago, and I made a video out of it. It suggested that I was moderately left-wing. And I am. I do think that there should be a moderate level of the redistribution of wealth. I think that richer people should pay more taxes than poorer people, for instance. There are a lot of rich people who inherited wealth who genuinely believe that if poor people just pulled up the bootstraps and tried a little, they could work themselves out of poverty. Well, that's not how it fucking well works. Some people are genuinely so poor that it is next to impossible for them to work themselves out of it. Don't get me wrong, there are things about capitalism that are good. For instance, a free market does breed competitiveness, which leads to more quality and lower prices. I just think that A, it needs to be regulated to some extent, because if it's not, people abuse the system. And B, there are some things that I don't think you can run efficiently privately. For instance, healthcare. Private companies are always about profit, and a way to maximise profit is to cut your losses. In healthcare, the losses are sick people, and as a direct result, people die. So anyway, socially I'm quite liberal. I think in the vast majority of cases you should be allowed to do whatever you want. And fiscally, I'm moderately left-wing. I'd just like to end this with a thought about this whole portrait of an atheist thing. Someone posted a comment on Agnostic Man's original video explaining this whole portrait of an atheist thing, saying that he didn't think it was going to work. Agman, I think you will be sorely disappointed. My prediction, 70% of respondents will be liberals, 30 libertarians, and they will share many of the same beliefs on many things. Even though I do agree that there is probably going to be a general consensus in the atheist community on certain issues, the fact that there is any discrepancy proves his point. Christians have numerous denominations, all claiming to be the right one. The fact that all these denominations exist suggests that they all think that they've got it right and everyone else is not a true Christian. But the fact that atheists can disagree on anything, despite agreeing on a lot of things, does prove that there is no atheist dogma, and that atheists do not have a groupthink mentality. So I do not think that this whole portrait of an atheist thing was a bad idea, and I think it did prove its point. As for who I'm tagging, I was going to limit myself to people who I hadn't tagged before. But then I just thought, why? I've got people on YouTube whose videos I like watching, who I think deserve more subscribers, and who I genuinely want to see answers from. And they're the people I'm going to tag. So the people I'm going to tag are Decojuicer, Danny Pants GM, Pandyfackleresque, and Canadian Atheist. I haven't tagged Canadian Atheist before, but I'm tagging you now. Tag, 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 tag. Thanks for watching.